How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and today we'll be having an in-depth look at Fujin to see if he is terrific or terrible. And don't worry, from what I've seen, he does look pretty godlike, which of course makes sense, he is the god of wind, but I'm just saying, this character has me scared more than any other DLC character. So without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off with the universals, the down 1, 7 frames, that's good, that's average, nice. Down 3 is 10 frames, pretty good. Whoa, 9 frames on the down 4, and look at that stagger. Okay, that's pretty darn good. A 9 frame down 4, that looks pretty strong already. How about the uppercut? Okay, that's a weird uppercut animation, I'm not gonna lie. How good does that do above him? It doesn't seem super good for that. Oh no, does not hit very well above him, but maybe a bit in front of him still? Wow. That's not gonna be like the best uppercut, but it does still hit in front of him, just not very well above him. So it's still gonna work as long as they're jumping in on you, but if they cross you up, that's not gonna be a very good uppercut, so just keep that in mind. Now thankfully he does have different moves like this that hit directly above him, so he still has that thing covered. But just keep in mind, your uppercut will not save you if they're right above you or behind you. And how about the short hops? Okay, short hop 3 is pretty darn fun. Short hop 2, wow, the range on that is actually pretty darn good. It's a bit slower than short hop 3, but that range makes up for it if you ask me. That's a really good short hop. I like it a lot. The throws. Forward throw. Take the air out of him, punch him with it. Full screen. Okay, that's going to be crazy good for zoning. My goodness, that's really strong. Back throw. Also really far away. Now Fujin is a zoner, but he's not necessarily a keep away character. He just likes to be at around jumping distance or a bit further, so these throws definitely do complement that. So universally, he seems really strong, and this sweep, by the way. I just want to say how much I love this sweep animation. Looks so cool. Now the range on it is quite abysmal, and he also does not crouch while doing it, so he is vulnerable to high attacks and other stuff like that. But still, a really cool animation. But in summary, his universals seem pretty good. So next up, let's have a look at the attack strings. This is always my favorite part of the video. So as you can see, NetherRealm went a bit overboard with all the attack strings. He has so many, so let's get started. Gusting Cyclone. That's a really decent punish. 7 frames, not bad range on it either. Boom, boom, boom. And I do believe this crushing blows on counter hit or punish. Yes, it does, so there you go. Now, despite what you might think, you actually can't combo after it. I thought you could, but it seems like no, you don't actually recover. So sadly, it's not good for combos, and on top of that, it switches sides, so you do not want to do this move if you have the opponent cornered. And next up, we have Aerokinesis. This string is a bit confusing to me. One thing, it's a dial-in, which makes it already a bit tougher to do, especially as a hit confirm. And you don't get very much damage if you do it either. There's no crushing blow, and on block it's -5, but the first 2 hits are -4, so actually safer, but their damage is the exact same as Gusting Cyclone. So this string is a bit perplexing to me. I'm not quite sure what it's good for as of yet. I imagine it's just a go-to punish, hit confirm, just like Gusting Cyclone. But this string as of yet doesn't seem super good. It does have some corner carry, I suppose, knocks him a bit further away and gives you some distance, so that's nice. It's good for resetting the neutral a little bit on hit, but you're not getting very much damage with it. But then we have Howling Wind, so this string has me excited. Check out the range on this mid. Now it's 13 frames, so a bit on the slow side, but look at the range on this thing, and you have all day to hit confirm it. And then if you finish it, once again it's a dial-in string. You get this, the opponent's pretty darn far away, so once again, have fun with your zoning. However, do be warned, as this string is actually very, very minus on block. It has tons of pushback, but still -17, so you do not want to do the entire string on block. In fact, to me, the main deal is that the 2 mids are nice. The range on these mids are amazing. Now, still unsafe though, look at that, -14. So this first hit is really good as a mid. But keep in mind, it's super, super unsafe. This feels kind of like Raiden. It's a go-to mid, but it's very risky to even go for it. Great hit confirm, but on block you're in trouble, so you want to find some special moves that keep you safe, because that second hit is very punishable. And then we have Tornado Twist. Ooh, we got a low in there, I like that. And it also ends in a low. Is that a dial-in still? It is, so the last 2 hits are also a dial-in, and you get 2 more lows. Now, very unsafe on block, just be warned. The first 2 hits I don't think are, though. Oh, they are, -11. Okay, so Fujin so far is an unsafe boy. So he's going to pay for these mix-ups, but he does have a little low right there. Now so far, no overhead, so the opponent could just crouch block for days so far. But next up we have Calm Before the Storm. Wow, tons of pushback, so really good for resetting that neutral. What's this one like on block? -4, so much safer, but keep in mind that is a high attack, and I'm wondering, can the opponent actually neutral crouch that? Yes, you most certainly can duck that and then get a full combo punish, so just be warned. It may be safe on block, but that high attack can be ducked under. It's very, very risky. Let's go back to Fujin. And next up we have Whirlwind and Tailwind. These are perhaps the scariest thing about Fujin. The range on these things is just nuts. So like, just check this out. I'm back here, right? Here's Whirlwind. Look at the range on that. Just crazy, right? Reaches from so far away. Now what's it like on block? -7, so it's like just fine. What's the first hit? -7, so it's completely safe against most characters outside of Raijin. And then if you're a bit further away, you can't reach with Whirlwind, but you can reach with Tailwind. And Tailwind does special cancel into a bunch of stuff, so you still get your combos with it. So these moves have fantastic range. And what's this one like on block? Still safe? Oh, it doesn't hit in front of him. That's interesting. However, it is very punishable on block, -21, so be careful doing the first hit of Tailwind. I imagine for the first couple of weeks, a bunch of Fujin players are going to be using just these two strings. Now, the good news is that only Tailwind can actually special cancel. Whirlwind can only go into the second hit, and it switches sides, so if you're cornered, then you're free. But my goodness, the range on these things is ridiculous, and the startup might be a bit slow, but just look at how far they reach. Like, you cannot walk forward on this guy, and they're mids, which means you have to deal with them. You cannot even duck these. They're very scary. And this one, Whirlwind, isn't even punishable, so this is a very scary set of strings, and it's going to be very dangerous against Fujin. Next up, we have Whisked Away. Oh, this is fun. So that's a low attack, and it can go right under high projectiles, and if the first hit misses, you actually get a Crushing Blow. Boom. Only 24%, which I think is good. You don't deserve too much damage there. But you can go under a projectile and then punch them and get a full punish that way. That's how it would actually happen. Or the opponent just blocks the low and then tries to counterattack and you catch him with this, any number of things. Now what's it like on block? Only -7, it's a pretty safe approach option, honestly. The low is actually very punishable though, you want to finish it if they block. But if you hit it, you can actually special cancel that first hit. So you can be very far away and then land it and get a special move cancel and get some pretty decent corner carry and some decent damage too. So it's a very interesting low. So not only is Fujin really great from a distance, but he can also close the gap whenever he wants to with this. So pretty darn scary stuff. But how about Blown Away? Oh yeah, this string is super interesting. Check this out. The second hit actually restands. How dope is that? Now what's it like on hit? It's +4. That's crazy. So your faster mids are now almost guaranteed against this. That's pretty cool. And hopefully he has some faster mids than this, but if not, you still can do like a down 1 or a down 3 or a down 4. Those are all guaranteed if you end your combo with this string right here because it restands, and that also means no wake up option, so that's pretty darn cool. What's it like on block? Only -6. What's the third hit like? Oh wow, +5, look at all that pushback. Is there any way to avoid that? It's a mid, but I do believe you can flawless block it, so there is a gap there too. Just keep that in mind. It's a very good string though, my goodness. That's a super good string in the neutral. That's nice. That's a really good string. And last but not least, we have Crushing Zephyr. So this string is awesome. It's a mid and then an overhead. How fast is that mid? 16. Not very fast, but the range on it is pretty good. So it's pretty good for whiff punishing. Boom. And then the Crushing Blow is right here. And this can actually special cancel. And oddly enough, the Crushing Blow requirement for this is quite weird. The second hit has to land twice in a row. So I'm not quite sure what that even means, but check it out. So the second hit of the combo 2 times in a row. So it seems like it has to be like this. That's weird, so you would have to end the combo with this string or just hit them in the neutral with this, and then intentionally miss the first hit and land with just the second one, and that's how you get the Crushing Blow. That's beyond weird, but the good news is, once again, you only have lows for the most part as this character, so the opponent's going to be crouch blocking all the time. So if you knock them away, and then just go for a raw overhead that reaches from there, they're not going to be expecting it. And keep in mind, the overhead's also safe, it's only -7. So even though it's not the most practical Crushing Blow, it's still very low risk and high reward, so that's cool. And that is it for the attack string. So my first impressions, Fujin is godlike from jumping distance and beyond. He can just pull you in, he can special cancel that to get a combo started, all that good stuff. And if you want to do projectiles, he can go no and just slide on in. So it seems like he dominates from a bit further away because up close he has a pretty decent mid, but a lot of his options are unsafe on block, like very unsafe. So unless he has special moves to keep himself safe, you're being quite risky whenever you attack up close with this character. But next up, let's check out the special moves. So first up we have the universal special moves, the Crossbow Blast. This move is interesting. If you want to aim it, you can, but it costs meter right off the bat. So just the first shot itself costs meter. It does hit mid though, so that's interesting. By default it's only high. And the second hit is also a high if you amplify, but if you choose to aim the crossbow, it then becomes a mid. Whether you do up or down, it transforms into a mid. And even the second one you fire can also be amplified in a different direction. So you can fire a regular one, then the second one can be an upshot or a downshot, and those are all mids. Now thankfully these projectiles don't do very much damage, but my goodness, avoiding these things is going to be very tough. And next up we have the wind kicks, a mid-hitting special move with tons of corner carry. Do it twice when the opponent's already in the corner, but as you saw, it's very risky on block because you miss, so they can just punish you because you completely missed them, even though it starts off mid. So it's very risky to not combo into it. You always want to hit confirm this thing. And then if you amplify, you get a bit more damage and the opponent's left much further away. So that's really good for projectiles or just more zoning in general. If you want the opponent a bit closer, then do the regular version because that's like jumping distance. It's exactly where you want to be as Fujin with his normal strings. And that's actually it for his universal specials, at least in variation 1. So next up, let's check out his unique special moves. So first up we have Tornado. This move hits directly above Fujin, but outside of that, not very good range. Doesn't even hit very far in front of him. Now thankfully, you can control it. If you hold forward, you go forward, you hold back, you go back. You can go back then forward or forward then back if you want to, and then if you amplify it, you can hold it down for even longer. Now normally you can't actually combo into this move unless you land it very, very late. So right there I could have actually comboed, but the spacing makes it difficult. But you do recover fast enough if you land it on the last couple of frames to actually combo after it. It's just kind of tough to do. And you can also do this move in the air as well, so just attack straight down when jumping forward at him, which is interesting. You could amplify it, just keep going. Ooh, when you amplify it hits twice. I didn't even notice that. You can amplify it 2 times actually and hit 3 times. Okay, sorry, I didn't even notice that. Wow, that's very interesting. Is it easier to combo after when you amplify? Yes, it is. So if you want to combo after it with a bit less effort, you can just amplify and get the combo started that way. So that's interesting. So do that, boom, and then you can combo. Interesting. The timing's not super easy, but it does actually extend combos when you amplify. Cool stuff. And next up we have Divine Winds. This move is interesting. You can cancel it by pressing down twice, and it doesn't cost any meter, so that could catch some people off guard. You hit them, come out of it, and then throw them or something. It's not a very good mix-up, but it could work every now and then. But most importantly, you actually get your short hops out of this. And in fact, I do believe you actually get a crushing blow if you land them. Yes, it does have a crushing blow, though it's a bit odd. You have to hover for a short period of time, and sadly you can't move forward or back while doing this, so I guess you would do it, and then boom, and that counts. And it launches, so you can follow up after that. That's kind of cool. It starts off combos, though I'm not sure if it's the most useful crushing blow. I don't know why the opponent would just stand there. I guess they're scared of you doing an overhead right away, so they kind of respect it. And then you just catch them with it, I guess is the idea. Now thankfully you can actually do a crouching attack and cancel into it, so do like down 1 and press up right away and you'll actually cancel into it, which is nice. And that might be one of the better ways to get the crushing blow set up. And believe it or not, that's actually it for variation 1. There's not very much to this variation, so next up let's move on to variation 2. Alright, so first up we have Warped Needle. This replaces his wind kicks. Pretty interesting move though. What's that like on block? -16? Can I amplify it? I can, and then it's -1. Look at that, that's just crazy. Okay, I like this special move a lot. It's super flashy and it saves you on block. Now you can actually interrupt or flawless block that second hit, I do believe. It appears to have a pretty big gap there. Does it overhead though, so just keep that in mind. Wow, that's crazy. So remember earlier how this mid was super risky? Now it's actually a hit confirm. If they block it, you can do that and keep yourself safe. Just make sure you have meter, otherwise you won't be able to keep yourself safe. But that's just very interesting. On hit, you would do a combo starter, and then on block, you would do Warped Needle and Amplify to keep yourself safe. That's already really strong. And then we have Wind Barrier. So this move is super interesting. Only possible in the air, but it actually nullifies jump and attacks. And then if you do the down version, it'll actually parry the opponent trying to anti-air you. So that's very interesting stuff. So let's check that out. And there you go. I nullify it. Cool stuff. And afterwards, I can do a punch, and I can amplify that for tons of screen carry, or I can do a kick. And if I do a kick, that one actually has the crushing blow option when you amplify it. Now the crushing blow requirement is that you have to parry 2 attacks in a row. And then if you get that to happen, here's what the crushing blow looks like. Boom, in the gut. Does it combo? Yes, it does. You have to dash in or be in the corner already to make it easier, but that does seem to actually start off combo, so that's very interesting. So as you can see, by default, it just absorbs the attack. Now unfortunately, you don't seem to fall faster than the opponent, so you really do want to do a follow-up of some kind to actually hit them, otherwise you're wasting your meter. But that's just cool. You can amplify, and you can also get your crushing blow if you parry 2 attacks in a row, so that's crazy. Boom. Oh, it's tough, but you can definitely combo after that. That's sick. And don't forget, you can also parry people trying to anti-air you as well, so check that out. Boom! Nope, you can't uppercut me. And it has the same exact follow-ups, I believe, so the punch will be straightforward. So if you parry the opponent's anti-air, you definitely want to do the kick follow-up because the punch is going to miss, but that's really sick. So you can parry on the way in, trying to jump in on the opponent. They try to anti-air you, or if you know they're going to jump, parry them in the air, and then do your follow-up as well. That's pretty sick. The punch seems much better as a follow-up on airborne opponents, whereas the dive kick follow-up is much better against anti-airs. And then last but not least, we have Skywalker. I think you all get the pun there. This is the awesome move you saw in all the gameplay trailers where he runs on the air. So for starters, press down twice and he cancels it. This time it does cost meter, but that makes sense. He can also amplify it, which turns it into attack right away. So that's sick, and it does hit people even if they're grounded. That's crazy, it's a mid. But is it a mid they can crouch? I wouldn't be surprised if they could crouch that. Let's go ahead and see. Yes, they can neutral duck it. It may catch them while crouch blocking, but they can neutral duck this move. Just keep that in mind. You can also cancel the meter burn version too. So it costs you 1 offense and 1 defense, but just keep that in mind. You can go for the amplify, and if it misses, you can still cancel it. However, we're still not done. This move still has a ton of secrets, so you can do the flying sword just like his air barrier, and you can also do the dive kick, and once again, both of these have their amplified options. So this one is going to be if the opponent jumps on you. That's why you want to do the flying sword. You do the dive kick if they're on the ground. That's going to be what that is for, and they both still have their amplified versions. And once again, only the dive kick amplify crushing blows, but this time the requirement is different. You have to run 2 steps. But as you can see, look at that, boom. So it's going to be pretty much like almost full screen to get 2 full steps in before the dive kick. But once you land that dive kick and spin the bar, you get a combo. That's going to be really good if they're in the corner. It's going to be much easier, but otherwise it's kind of tough to dash forward and get your combo, but it is possible. And that's about it for variation 2. I love the skywalk so much, but I think this variation is going to be for the more skilled players because there's a lot to memorize here. You have the 2 different options out of this. You have the barrier in both the anti-air and air-to-air options, both of which are going to require good timing and also just a good ability of reading the opponent and knowing what they typically go for. Does the opponent love to anti-air, or do they jump a lot? You have to know that before you can actually use this variation effectively, but you get some really cool follow-ups, and the skywalk is just really dope. And this right here, though, is why I prefer this variation, the option to keep yourself safe. So while I do think this variation will benefit a skilled player a bit more, just the option to keep yourself safe on block with this special move makes it also very good for beginners as well. So I think both types of players will enjoy variation 2. And last but not least, we have the infamous variation 3. This build is going to break controllers. It's not complicated, only 2 special moves, but check this out. Wind push. Look at that, mid 16 frame startup. Look at the range on this thing, and I can aim it. Here's the far version. And of course there's also a close version if the opponent's in your face, and you can amplify, and now they're full screen, and just keep pestering them. Now the damage thankfully isn't that high when you amplify, but they're still full screen. Just check that out. Only 60 damage, but very far away, and you can just keep doing it. It's a mid, it's very dangerous. And to make this move even more terrifying, check it out on block if you amplify. -3, so completely safe, which is horrifying. And I almost forgot to mention, this move does in fact have a crushing blow if you land every single distance version sequentially. So in other words, land the close version, land the regular version, then the far version, and then amplify, and you would get your crushing blow. So it's not the easiest crushing blow, and the damage isn't super high, but not only can they play keep away with you, but they can also get a crushing blow. It's going to be a very tough variation to deal with. So already you probably guessed this move is super frustrating. You get hit by it, you're suddenly full screen, and they can just keep pestering you with it, and it's a mid, so you can't even crouch it. It's going to be a very big problem. And then if you jump, he has air slam. This move specifically will catch you if you're in the air. Now thankfully he does have to aim it. He's got to do a close version, a far version, or a very far version. So thankfully this move doesn't track. The opponent does at least have to know which one to use in each situation, but it's still super strong because this special move does in fact combo when you amplify it. And they're in the air for a very long time. Look at that, I messed up the timing. They're in the air for so long. And what that means is, even if you land this move from far away, you still have a long time to try and close the gap. You can dash up to 3 times before they actually come down. And even if they're further away from that, you can still just do wind push and catch them anyway. There are so many ways to follow this up when you land it. And once again, from pretty much anywhere on screen, like, ooh, I still got her, look at that. This is going to be a super aggravating variation. Now thankfully, oh never mind, that's 175. I was gonna say the damage isn't that high, but just the landing alone seems to hurt quite a lot. 170, oh my goodness. So yeah, If you stay on the ground and walk forward, I can just wind push you all day long. And then if you jump, I can do air slam and spin the bar to get a full combo. So essentially, if I'm good at spacing, and I'm just good at zoning in general, I can beat you with just 2 special moves, and that's why I think this variation is going to break controllers. And that is it for Fujin, everyone. I do like how each variation feels a bit different. Variation 1 has the stances, Variation 2 has the higher mobility and the air counters, and then Variation 3 has death by 1,000 paper cuts with the crazy zoning. Now with that said, I do think his attack strings are a bit risky. A lot of them are very unsafe on block and not super fast either, so he does seem to excel at around jumping distance and not right in the opponent's face. I honestly don't think he'll be the easiest character to play outside of Variation 3, but I also don't see him being that complicated either outside of maybe Variation 2 and some crazier setups. He doesn't seem very difficult, but also not super easy either. But please let me know your thoughts on Fujin in the comment section down below, and then while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.